Yo, what's going on, man? Welcome into the ChrisBeCappinn Show. Today is September the 5th. Trying to get some cash. We got two WNBA games, so we're going to jump right into them after we do a quick recap. And we get into a couple of the comments real quick, as we always do. My apologies for no show today. I know my loyal listeners were wondering where I was, and I was kind of uncertain whether I was going to be able to do a show this morning or not. And ultimately, of course, I ended up not being able to do a show. Just had a whole lot of stuff going on. But neither here nor there. We here now. And we'll break down the two games that we got on the board. Yesterday, I did this really stupid thing where, I talked about yesterday's game. We only had one game in the W yesterday. We'll get into a quick recap. I talked about this game yesterday. I actually talked about the game. Yesterday was Wednesday. I talked about the game on Tuesday and, said how much I liked. I wasn't going to lay points with the Fever. I was going to take, the Sparks first half plus 7.5 or nothing for me. And then I really liked the Leah Boston over her points plus rebounds. She catches the points plus rebounds with just points by herself. And then, Sparks first half was a winner. Sparks full game was a winner. I ended up going long shot, just a sprinkle though. It was a very small play, 0.6 units on Rakia Jackson. Just kind of looking at her numbers, thinking that she might play well. She missed her first three, and then she started playing terrible, and Carmilla pulled her out immediately. She only played 24 minutes after having 30 minutes in like 7 straight games. So that's my fault. Probably should have went with my first read, but let's see if we can get it back today. Go through a couple of the comments real quick, and then let's jump into it for today. Mark says, good afternoon, Chris. Was worried when I didn't see you this morning. Let's cash today. Absolutely. Dropping Down says, I'm usually drinking my daily beet juice in the morning when I'm watching your show. Today, but afternoon vibes call for tequila shots. Let's cash. I like the switch up in beverage choice. Dropping Down. Beet juice in the morning sounds detoxifying, man. I like it. What's up to my guy Melvin? TCM Best reminding everybody to hit the like button. Yeah, if you can hit the like button, that's up the show. Appreciate that. Sean says he's going with the Mercury minus 3.5. D Johnson says, what's up, Chris? Fresh off work. Glad you finally doing an afternoon show. It wasn't planned, but it just kind of worked out that way. What up, Richie? Appreciate you for tapping in as well. And my guy RC says, what up, Chris? Finally made a show. Yeah, because I did it late. Did it super late today. But let's get into the two games that we got on the board for today. So first game up, we got the Seattle Storm. They will be in New York taking on the Liberty. Line open 7.5. It really didn't move much. It was 7.5 for a really long time. And money come in on the Liberty, push it to 8. The total did come down. It opened 164.5. There's some 164s out there, and 163.5 seems to be the consensus. So looking at the situational spot, you got the Storm coming off 1 day's rest. This is the last game of a short 2-game road trip, a 3-game road trip. That should say last of a 3-game road trip. Well, 2-game road trip. They played the 3-game road trip. They played the Connecticut Sun twice. Of course, they ended up, getting smoked in the first one. We were on them in that game. And then they bounced back and got a very convincing win against Connecticut in that last game. So, short travel from Mohegan Bay to Barclays. And you can see the numbers for the Storm, 20-13 straight up, 16-17 against the number, 8-8 straight up, 7-9 against the number on the road. So they haven't necessarily been doing well in this spot. And we talked about them kind of burning people money, man. It was a month and a half, I think it was, overall, before the Storm finally got a chance to cover a spread. 8 is a very big number before we jump into the Liberty. But this is what the Liberty do. They, typically getting a bunch of points, and they haven't necessarily covered. You guys can see that they're 5-12 against the number as a home favorite. But the Liberty we see this all the time. They're going to be overpriced just because they're the best team in the WNBA. They got the best record at 27-7 straight up, and they've covered half of those, 17-7. They do have the major rest advantage here. 4 days of rest. They haven't played since they were in Seattle 4 days ago, and they beat the Storm. So first game first game after a 3-game road trip. They lost to the Sparks, then smoked the Mercury and smoked the Storm. Come back home to this game. So what is it that I like in this one? A couple different things. I talked about this yesterday when I did the show with my guy Dream. After looking into it just a tad bit, I think under is in play here. I loved it at 164.5. I was hoping that it ticked up a little bit, maybe 166, but we haven't seen that. And there's a couple different reasons. First thing here, I'll just jump into a couple of the trends. Trends show me that New York, I was interested to see how rust versus rest factor for them. New York, how they play when they are rested. So 3 days or more rest for the New York Liberty, and they're 5-1 to the under when they have 3 days or more of rest. And I mentioned they have 4 days of rest in this spot. They've held 5 of their 6 opponents under their team total when they have 3 days or more rest. And this with the Liberty, I know they're a really good chemistry team. They like to move the basketball. They shoot a bunch of threes. But if their shots are not falling, they still can rely on their defense. And this is the Storm offense, as you can see, 7th rated over the last 5 games. They've been struggling to score as well. Then I flip it and I look at the Storm. The Storm are 4-1 to the under this season as a road dog. They were road dogs in both of the last games against the Connecticut Sun. Both of the first one ended up going over. The second one ended up going under. And those games have an average of about 164 are the totals in those games, similar to today's total. And they're going under by an average of, I think it was 14 points per game. It's either 14 or 17. I put an extra number here, but I want to say it's 14 points per game. So I see a game where the Liberty struggle to score the basketball because they are rusty. I think that leads to, a Seattle first half cover potentially, just because they're less rusty. But what I don't want to trust quite yet is the Seattle Storm offense. We always talk about this, and we talked about it at length the other day. But when I go in and I look at the Seattle Storm offensively, especially on the road, this is one of the worst, the worst 3-point shooting team on the road. They do get Gabby Williams. She's been played, I think, 6 games so far. And that's helped I would say it helps the defense, but offensively, she hasn't really been doing much. It took her 6 games to get the double figures. She finally did get the double figures the other day. Maybe that's a sign, a good sign for them. I think that they definitely will need her. But if I'm looking at Seattle real quickly, I want to make sure I got this right. This team is shooting 28% from the 3-point line on the season, 24.7% from the 3-point line over the last 5 games, making a league low 4.6 threes per contest. And you got a Liberty team that's number 1 at guarding the 3-point line over the last 5 games. So I like the matchup here for the Liberty. I think it's going to be a little bit slower paced game. I know the Liberty have been playing fast, but Seattle's played slow. So yeah, I like Liberty. If I had to play the spread, I really want to get there with Seattle, but I think it's an under spot. I just think Seattle could struggle to score. I think the Liberty could also struggle to score. Numbers always inflated because they're, such a great offense. So those are my thoughts. Let's see what you guys are thinking before we move over. Dropping down, since he played the first half under 83, I could definitely see it being a slow starting game. Yeah, I think I had this on my short list too. Or maybe I just didn't write it down. But first half under makes a lot of sense. Under 83, that number is long gone now. 81.5, it looks like it's the best number that I see that's currently available. Minus 115 on BetMGM. Yeah, I like that look, dropping down. I could definitely get behind that. Like it a lot. My guy RC says rest versus rest day. Absolutely. Dropping down says Storm 1-9 to the under their last 10 on the road, and Libs 3-7 last 10 at home, and 2-7 is home favorites. The money baller is so clutch, and that's a fact. Always talk about checking out Money Baller, man. RC and the guys got a great product over there, and I shout them out at the end of every show, but for sure. What up to my guy Jay Money? What up, Jay? Hope all is well with you, bro. NBA season right around the corner as well. We got in the next month. So yeah, me and Jay probably be doing some shows here soon. Shout out to my guy Jay in the chat. D Johnson says Liberty might not care as much. Yeah, that's potential for that as well. There is potential for that. Yeah, I could definitely see that. G421 says Seattle first half cover sounds good. Yeah, I think it's just a little bit of rest for the Liberty here. I really, really do. When I looked at the Liberty, specifically in the first half, when they were coming off 3 days rest, let me just pull it up real quick one more time. So when the Liberty have 3 days of rest or more, they are winning the first quarter by about 5, losing the second quarter by 1. So I think that's about where the margin is today. But I like the first half under though. I think the Liberty could struggle to score here. Could definitely see that. Let's move it on over to the last game on the board for today. Yeah, it's been 5 days. Jay. I see Jay comment says they haven't played in 5 days. Yeah, and that's matter of fact. Let's see if we shift this to 4. How many times has the Liberty had 4 days of rest this season? I feel like we've seen this spot a couple times. So they've had 4 days of rest or more 3 times this season. They're 2-1 against the spread. They've won every game, but they 2-1 against the spread, 2-1 to the under. They played the Aces. They beat the Aces with 5 days of rest compared to 1 for the Aces. They played the Dream. They beat the Dream by 6, but they was laying 15.5 back on June the 30th. And they smoked the Sparks, 103 to 98. And that was the first game back after the Olympic break. I thoroughly remember that one. I think I was on the Sparks in that spot. So yeah, you get them in a different spot here. Next game up we got is last game on the board, Mystics and the Mercury. So I touched on this just a tad bit yesterday when we were doing the show, but very interesting game here. Injury report. I got to make sure I look at this real quick. Shakira Austin has been ruled out, and it's weird, man, because I be thinking they trying to tank without Shakira Austin, but then they go out there and they still end up win a few games. The Mystics, I want to say they've covered 5 of their last 6, and just really playing a lot of defense, which is what I didn't expect, especially without Shakira Austin. And for the Mercury, Rebecca Allen remains out. They do get Natasha Cloud back though after that 1-game suspension, and of course they're coming off a really, really needed win against the Atlanta Dream on what day was that? Tuesday. I think it was on Tuesday. So last of a 5-game homestand. That's been a spot that you typically don't want to bet against too much. For the Mystics, they beat the Dallas Wings the other day. I guess you get credit for that because they were 5.5-point dogs. So 2 days rest, first of a 2-game. This is clearly not updated, but second of a 2-game homestand for a 2-game road trip for the Washington Mystics here. You see the ATS record for the Washington Mystics. They've been absolutely cashing tickets, whether you take them first half or full game. I think they are the best ATS team in the WNBA right now, 21-11-1, 12-5 against the spread, and they continue to, just put money in your pocket if you've been backing them in the first half as well. The thing that I do think that this is going to be a fast-paced game because I don't have a way to kind of quantify it, but I've been watching the Mercury play recently, and they've been playing slow. I feel like they play a little bit faster in this spot. You look at the opponents that they've been playing, and they haven't been playing against, I wouldn't say fast-paced opponents outside of the Aces game. Not being able to really score the basketball. I don't think that they care as much in this game because the other thing is they've already clinched the playoff spot as well. I think that could come into play. Now you look at the Mystics actually sit 1 game out because, and I continuously, I say this every single time we do a show, every single time I do a show, but the Sky and the Atlanta Dream are almost playing like they don't want to win. They don't want to get into the playoffs. The Sky have lost, I think, 7 straight games. Kennedy Carter is back. She was at practice today, but they literally can't win a game. So it's almost like they're giving up the playoff spot. And they're tied with the Atlanta Dream, but they own the tiebreak over the Atlanta Dream. And of course, the Atlanta Dream just lost as well. So the Mystics, you look at their schedule. I did look at it yesterday. It is a difficult schedule. I don't think that they're going to be the team that ends up winning. I think they got the hardest schedule of the 3 teams, but one of them got to be in the play-in, got to be in the playoffs. I just kind of feel like this is going to be a faster paced game. I kind of feel like I said, without Shakira Austin out there, the Washington offense, in my opinion, is completely underrated, especially with Brittany Sykes out there at the point guard position. You still got Julie Von Loo. You got Ariel Atkins, Aaliyah Edwards, Stephanie Dolson, who got benched the other day, and they still just ran it up against the Dallas Wings. So in my opinion, like I said, Washington's offense has been a little bit better just because they're not forcing the ball to Shakira Austin. You really don't know who's going to take the shot. And I think Phoenix plays a little bit more up pace in this game, not being locked in defensively since they've already clinched. And Washington, who knows if they're going for the playoff push or not. And that's one of the reasons why I don't want to play the full game. But I think Washington first half could be good money. And I also feel like Washington will be able to score in this game. If you take a look at their team total, it's 80.5. No, it's 79.5. My fault. 79.5 on FanDuel, but you got to check around because there's some 80s out there. 80 and a half out there as well. So you need them to get to 81 points. Taking the team total kind of keeps you away from who cares if who you win or lose. Washington has scored 80 points or more in both games in the head-to-head matchup against the Phoenix Mercury. That last one was right before the break that I went to in DC on camp day. They ended up, I think, with 83. And in the game before that, I think they got to 80, 86. So I do feel like it's going to be a faster paced game. Phoenix probably not going to be locked in. And I think Washington will be able to score. So if I'm playing this game, I'm looking at Washington team total to go up and over the 79.5. Let's see what y'all think about it. And then we'll get up out of here. Do a quick recap and we'll get up out of here. D. John said Liberty walking comfortably into the playoffs. They absolutely are. Remember I said this about, they clinched a long time ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. I said, look for the Liberty not to, they're probably going to win, but you're going to start seeing players like Jocko Jones, take the night off. Stewie, take the night off. And it kind of feels like, I don't know if people paying attention, but it kind of feels like that's what Becky Hammon doing with the Aces as well, especially in those games that are super winnable. Now, the Aces got a really tough stretch coming up. I think they got the Connecticut Sun twice starting tomorrow, and then they got the Liberty. So, you rest against Chicago, you rest against Atlanta, and that's what she did. She gave, who was it? Kelsey Plum, the night off in that game against Chicago, knowing that they were going to win. And then before that, she gave Jackie Young the night off. And Jackie Young came back super refreshed against the Phoenix Mercury, and I think she hit 5 threes in that game. So, yeah, I mean, you got to kind of work with what you can do, especially when you send your 3 best players to the Olympics, to win gold. So, yeah, I do think the Liberty, kind of comfortably walking into the playoffs, absolutely. And they may not, care about this game as much, not enough to have to win it by margin. Sean says he got a Mercury -3.5 on the alt line. Anthony says BetMGM got a 164.5 at -120. I like it. UCabra says Mercury team total under. I didn't even look at what their team total was. I kind of feel like they can score. See, I don't know though. Like I don't really want to key in on their team total. I just saw Washington team total and was like, yeah, I should bet the over. I like it. He says I haven't bet this game yet though. Young Man Travel says I like the over in this one due to the 3-point shooting. Yeah, when you look at it, just to put some numbers to that real quick, when you look at Washington and you look at Phoenix, Washington is shooting the 3-point ball really well. They're 6th in above the break 3-point percentage over the last 5 games, 2nd over the full season, attempting the 4th most, making the 5th most, and the Mercury have given it up. I mean, they're allowing teams to shoot the most times at the above the break 3, from above the break 3. 10th, they're allowing the 10th most makes, and opponents are shooting. Last 5 games, they haven't been too bad. They're 7th, which is about 32%. So, I mean, that's what Washington going to do. They're going to spread and see who's open. So we'll see how it goes, but I definitely think the 3-point shooting should be there. And if you look conversely at the Washington Mystics defense, we know Phoenix want to get up and down the floor, push it. Nate Tibbetts like to run like an NBA style offense. Washington has been really good against the 3-point line. Well, they actually been doing a good job of not allowing teams to shoot threes. They're number 1 in opponent 3-point attempts, number 2 in opponent 3-point makes over the last 5 games, but they are allowing teams to shoot 35% from the 3-point line, which puts them bottom 4th. The Mercury just haven't been able to make them. Kalia Copper, you get a Natasha Cloud against her old team. It kind of makes sense for, Phoenix to be able to knock some threes down. If they can't, Brittany Griner should have a big day. They should have to double her, in my opinion. BG's look pretty good. She looked pretty good against Tina Charles the other day. What up to my guy, Fred? Mitchell says, good afternoon, y'all. Love the afternoon show. I was crazy busy at work this morning. I like this game. I like this game. Spot for the Mystics. RIP to Rich Homie Quan. Yeah, RIP to Rich Homie, man. It was crazy. It's still kind of hard to believe, honestly. I did see the news about 2 hours ago. D. Johnson says, who's going to score on the Mystics? You got to go back and check them out, man. Go back and check them out. Also, Mercury defense just hasn't been locked in recently either, outside of Atlanta. Atlanta not really scoring a lot of points. Jalen says, Mystics first half plus the 3.5. What up to my guy, Justin? He says, about to just tapped in, about to rewind. Malik, what up to my guy, Malik? He says, Kennedy Carter said, saying they're going to try and make a push. I mean, what else she going to say? But could be something they want morally. Yeah, I mean, they are. They're in that game tomorrow got my head spinning already. And I didn't even look at it too much. I was just trying to see who they was playing. I kind of feel like Kennedy Carter not gonna play tomorrow. She probably will, but I know she was at practice. She went through practice today. I saw the reports already. Yeah, it's the game is indicative of her 17.5 points contributing because that offense really struggled. They scored just 71 against the Aces 2 nights ago. Drop a Dime says Natasha Cloud over her assists. I think it was 5.5. I can see that. I can see Natasha Cloud having a big game today. Sean says it's a must win for the Mercury. I disagree. Anthony likes Brittany Griner first basket at plus 280. Couldn't talk you off. Mitchell says, curious, Chris, will you do 2 shows? One for NFL and one for WNBA on Sunday? Yeah, I'm not going to put them together. I probably most likely won't put them together. Helms like under 166 in this game. And yeah, I was kind of thinking that, but I don't know. Something tells me this one sneakily could get up and over the total. So I think I'll stay away from it. If I play anything, like I said, it'll be Mystics team total over. Jay says if Carter plays tomorrow, I like the under on her points. Absolutely. They probably still have her sitting at 17.5. And who they play tomorrow? They play the Sparks tomorrow. Sparks give it up to Biggs. So it should be a big Cardosa game. I left so much money on the table yesterday by not taking Aaliyah Boston. Her points plus rebounds cashed before halftime. She cashed the points plus rebounds with just points yesterday. 24 and 14 monster game yesterday. What up to my guy Rich? Anthony says Mercury defense much better at home. Is that still the case, Chris? So let's look at the Mercury real quick, and then we'll get ready to get up off here. But I like going through and answering these questions, and just kind of makes me think as well. So let's go through and look at it real quick. Let's look at the Mercury since the All-Star break at home. See how well their defense has been playing. So the Mercury. All right. So the Mercury are 5-4 to the under since the Olympic break. They did hold the Dream to 66, but the Aces scored 97. The Lynx scored 89. The Liberty scored 84. The Dream scored 80. I think if the Dream can get to 80. I think if the Dream can get to 80. If the Dream can get to 80, boy. And I like the Dream team total over tomorrow. I mean, if you know, you know. I don't got to do too much explaining that when they got the wings. I think the total is like 82.5, 83.5. I love that spot tomorrow. I haven't bet it yet. But yeah, I think it's difficult to cap the Mercury because the only game that they really played at home, that was meaningful and comparable, I guess I should say, was the Sky. And they caught the Sky slipping because the Sky was on the second leg of a back-to-back third game in 4 nights. I remember that spot, thinking that they were laying too many points at 7.5, and they ended up winning the game by 18. But, they had a very difficult schedule. Remember, we talked about this. Liberty, Aces, Lynx. You're not supposed to win any of those games. Those are, all three teams better than the Mercury. But, they were able to take care of the Dream. That game was pretty slow paced. I just don't think the Mystics going to play that slow. I think the Mystics going to play a lot faster than the Dream are. And, I just like the way the Mystics play basketball. So I don't know what the answer to your question is. I just think that they're playing against a worse defense. So they'll score more points and they'll give up more points, in my opinion. Let's see. Mitchell says he likes tomorrow's slate. Drop a Dime says Sky Sparks under. Wiz says I'm going to Ariel Atkins and Diane Taurasi over their points total. Both at 14.5. Appreciate the late show, bro. I always miss it on the weekdays. I appreciate you tapping in, man. Sean says, trust me, a must win. They lost 3 games in a row and bounced back with 1 win. They're trying to win 3 in a row on top of that losing streak. At least 2 wins. Yeah, I'm not saying that they're gonna go out there and try to lose the game, Sean. I'm not of that mindset. I'm just thinking that the Washington Mystics, if they win, they could potentially be in the play-in. Be in the playoffs. So it's not like the Mystics not gonna try hard either. I do think the Mystics are not the better team, especially without Shakira Austin. But I think that they can score. So I'm not on the spread. I'll leave that up to you. Yeah, we do got some good games for tomorrow. All right, so real quick recap of what I just said. Seattle, New York, like I said, I think it's a little bit of rust for New York, which is why I like Seattle first half as well. You could see New York just a little stagnant. And we know when those threes not going, then it's a whole different team. Seattle is not, New York is not the same team. And I think Seattle could struggle to score as well, especially on the road where they can't make a three to save their lives. So under 164 would be my strongest recommendation. Haven't played it yet, which is why you see it in red. Seattle first half plus the 4.5. Also on the list, I like the under a little bit more than the full game, than the first half. And then I do think Washington will be able to contribute some points today. So 79.5, it feels like a really low number. I know Phoenix defense has been a little bit better recently, but I think Washington can spread them out. They definitely bringing BG outside the paint. She's going to have to get out there and guard Big Mama Steph today. We'll see how it goes, man. But if I'm playing, top two plays will be under in Seattle, New York, and then it will be Washington team total up and over 79.5 available on FanDuel is where I saw it at. And that's the show for today. Tomorrow we got a big show, man. We'll go through a couple of the NFL games for Sunday, so I don't got to do all of them at the same time. Thursday night football, Friday night football in Brazil. I don't really got anything on that game. I went through and looked at, everything. It's just not a lot that I feel super strong about. So I won't touch on that. I talked about, my favorite play for the Thursday night game tonight being Derrick Henry up and over his rushing attempts. And the numbers moving against me. Yesterday, I think it was minus 130 at 16.5. And now it's come down. So we'll see how that goes. I just kind of feel like Baltimore led the league in rushing last season, 31.5 carries per contest. I think Derrick Henry gets at least 16 carries, 17 carries tonight, closer to 20 in my opinion. I know that the numbers are sharp because the sharps have been picking over these lines since they came out 2-3 months ago. But I do kind of feel like Derrick Henry gonna get his fair share of carries. It makes sense if you're Lamar Jackson and you're coordinating the Baltimore offense to kind of keep Patrick Mahomes on the sideline, hand the ball off to Derrick Henry, running behind one of the best lines that he's ever had. So that's my favorite player prop today. I did bet that one, and not anything too heavy, but I did bet that. And resources, as you guys can see them here. Check out OddsJam if you guys have not. Use referral code CBC. That'll get you 20% off your first month. And then always, we talk about Moneyballer throughout the whole show, man. All the trends, the team totals, the stats, the, revenge angles, all of those different things you guys can find at Moneyballer. So 50% off right now is what they're offering your first billing cycle. I think it's at least a must try, especially now. And here's the biggest thing about Moneyballer. It just saves so much time. Outside of using SDQL, like there's nothing else that I really need to look at, to find, other angles to make my play kind of make sense and quantify what it means in my head, kind of justify it in my head. So now that we got MLB, which I'm not betting MLB, but we got WNBA, NFL, and NBA season, I mean, you're going to want to have something that's going to eliminate that process, especially if you like to handicap the games before we come on the show. So check out Moneyballer, man. I said all that to say check out Moneyballer. If you don't like it, cancel. You can cancel anytime, but definitely check out Moneyballer. And if you're going to sign up, you might as well get 50% off your first month. So check that out. Give me the dog, Killer Sports, and Cleaning the Glass on here as well. Other resources that I use to kind of handicap various sports. And that's it. If you're still watching, you enjoyed the show, do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button on the way out. Share the show. Tell your coworkers, your friends, everybody. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. Link to all my official plays is in the description, as it always is. Bet responsibly. Best of luck. And I'll catch you guys tomorrow. We will be back in the morning tomorrow. I'll be back tomorrow, early in the morning. I'll catch you guys then. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday. Enjoy Thursday night football. I'll catch you guys tomorrow.